Why October IIP came in at an 8-month low despite festive demand strong GST numbers. Industrial output grew 3.2%, the lowest in 8 months in October. What does the data show and what are concerns? What could be the trend going forward? Industrial output grew 3.2%, the lowest in 8 months in October, with an uptick in mining and electricity output. Supply side bottlenecks, especially related to coal and chips in the automobile sector, along with subdued investment and consumption, weighed on index of industrial production. Despite festive demand, data released by the National Statistical Office showed on Friday the data, which comes with a lack of month, points towards tepid economic recovery in the third quarter. Concerns. Economists said that the October IIP print reflects weak consumption and investment trends despite 25.3% growth in GST collection and 7.5% growth in core infrastructure sectors. Even though festive demand supported sequential growth, they said the heavy lifting to take the economy out of sluggish growth has to be done by the government. Despite 25.3% growth in GST collections and 7.5% growth in core infrastructure sectors, October 2021 IIP growth was impacted by the base effect and grew 3.2%. Only October 2020 4.5%. The IIP growth has been fragile and even festive demand was not able to uplift IIP growth in October 2021. Devendra Kumar Pant, Chief Economist India Ratings said. Worrying trends are also emerging on the investment front. Industrial output is likely to follow the same trend as observed in the periodic labor force survey and weak private final consumption expenditure depicted in 2Q financial year 2022 GDP numbers. Omicron could be a disruptor in the coming months. I expect a weak set of IIP numbers in the rest of financial year 2022. Weak consumption and investment trend imply that the heavy lifting to take the economy out of sluggish growth has to be done by the government, Pant said. Nomura Global Markets Research in a report on Saturday said the data showed two key pockets of weakness: capital goods minus 1.1% YoY and consumer durables minus 6.1%. The weakness likely reflects production bottlenecks such as shortage of coal and chips, it said. The output of the manufacturing sector, which accounts for over three-fourths of the total weight of the index, grew 2% in October as against 3% in September and 4.5% a year ago. Mining output rose 11.4% in October against a 1% contraction a year ago. The power generation increased 3.1% as against the 11.2% growth a year ago. Amongst use-based industrial classification, capital goods, an indicator of investment, contracted 1.1% in October, while consumer durables output contracted 6.1% and consumer non-durables output grew just 0.5%. The only primary good 9.0% and infrastructure construction good 5.3% provided some support to growth. Overall, industrial output is still below pre-COVID levels 99.6% of February 2022. Trend going ahead. The demand recovery is still being seen as tentative. The supply side bottlenecks on coal and chips are likely to persist into November as evidenced by lackluster auto sales. Other preliminary data for November also suggest a broad-based easing of the growth momentum even as the economic reopening is supporting a pickup in mobility and services. Going ahead, IIP is expected to be sub 3%. Consumer non-durables displayed a subpar 1% rise for the second consecutive month in October 2021, adding heft to the view that the demand recovery is as yet tentative. Even as the ongoing supply challenges in the auto sector persisted, the YoY performance of several other high-frequency indicators deteriorated in November 2021, including electricity demand, GST e-way bills, port cargo traffic, suggesting that economic activity lost steam after the festive season ended with a saturation of pent-up demand. According to IIP, growth may print sub 3% of the just concluded month in spite of the low base, minus 1.6% in November 2020. Aditi Nair, Chief Economist, ICRA Ratings said. The Reserve Bank of India, in its recent monetary policy statement on December 8, had retained its GDP forecast for 2021-22 at 9.5%. For the third quarter of October-December, it lowered the GDP forecast to 6.6% from 6.8% earlier. Thank you.